In the last stream, we were working on crafting up our elite crafting table and using it to craft up some of the different tiers of essence, specifically the air, the earth, the water, and the fire essence, and getting the respective seeds for those essences. And right at the end of the last episode, we set up a bunch more of these phytogenic insulators to automatically produce the fire, the earth, the water, and the air essence. And right now, those have been chugging away a little bit between streams to the point where we have about 2 stacks of each essence. And the very first thing that we're going to do in today's stream is look at crafting the air key, the earth key, the water key, and the fire key. We saw these recipes in the last stream. They do look a little tricky, but I think they should be very doable. I'm also going to go ahead and unbookmark a ton of stuff on here because we don't need most of this going forward. I'll leave all of the Tom Simple storage stuff and the strainers bookmarked because I feel like we're constantly crafting those every single episode. But to start with here, the air key seems fairly straightforward. All of the keys require these different shrine key fragments, and then specifically the air and the earth key, these require different colors of dirt. Yellow dirt for the air key, and then green dirt for the earth key. And this shouldn't be too difficult. We need a sprayer, and we need a spray can of the color that we want to spray. So the sprayer itself is made with 8 mixed stone and then 1 spray can. So mixed stone ingots we do have, we've got 36 of them, and we can indeed get more if we want. Right now we're not actually making more because we've moved the upgrade that we were using for that mixed stone, but we can always reuse it in the future should we wish. Over here, we do, of course, have our catalog, and so we should be able to buy really any color of sprayer that we like. Now, I have a feeling that the spray can is going to get used up in the crafting of the sprayer. And so what I think we'll do is we'll buy at least 1 yellow and 1 green, and I think it's green. Let me check that it's not lime. We need green dirt. Yeah, that's specifically green dirt, not lime dirt. So let me put that in here. Thankfully, they're super cheap for us to get, 2 coins per spray, and we do have 125 C-Bucks inside of our wallet here. And then I will go ahead and buy just like a white spray can as well. This is the one that we are, of course, going to use to actually craft the sprayer block. And so back over here, do we now have what it takes to craft the sprayer? We do. And of course, because I shift-clicked it in, it put in the wrong item. That is not ideal, but for the most part, it's fine. Over here, we'll throw this down. And now, if we were to get some dirt out of the system here, over here, we can go boom, and that's going to start making green dirt. And we really don't need that much of it. We need 12 green dirt in total, and we already have 12 green dirt. Perfect. And so now we can head back around once again to the catalog and spend 2 more of our C-Bucks here to once again rebuy that yellow spray can because I did not do that correctly at all. But that should basically be both of those taken care of. I think there is one more thing that we need to spray as well, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just quickly check here that we do also need just 12 yellow dirt. That is correct. Perfect. We'll take those out. And then I'm fairly certain that I also saw some different colored leaves in here. Oh no, of course, we saw the green colored logs. And so we do need 4 of these for the green earth key. This, again, fairly straightforward. We could do 2 things. We could spray a sapling to make it green. So we could take one of our blue or pink saplings and then spray that into a green sapling, grow it, and then plant it and harvest green logs. Alternatively, though, given that we do only need 4 of the green logs, we can actually just take 4 of any colored logs and put them into the sprayer with the spray can, and you'll see the spray cans here do have quite a large durability, and so we don't really have to worry too much about running out of that durability anytime soon. Nice. And so now back to the air key here. The other things we need are air essence. We have that. Glass bottles, we made those in the last episode. Shrine key fragments, we got those last time as well. And so for us now, it is just floating blocks and feather blocks. And these are kind of one in the same. The floating block here is some wool with feathers, and the feather block is just a ton of feathers. And so for us to make this work, we need to get a lot of feathers. Thankfully, I do believe that we can get a chicken to spawn using the summoning block. We can. If we take any seed at all, we can right-click that seed onto the summoning block. That will summon a chicken, assuming, of course, that we have the correct block underneath. In this case, it wants dirt, and I believe we have stone under here right now from our Enderman that we summoned in the last episode. And so if we were to quickly replace that stone with a bit of dirt, one will do, we should then be able to start spawning chickens, like so. And of course, we can then kill those chickens. And given that we have this new Fluix sword with looting 1, we are almost guaranteed to get feathers, if not multiple feathers, every time that we kill a chicken. And so essentially all we need to do here is just kill a ton of chickens. One thing that might not be a terrible idea, I did just spend all of our flax seeds there, but it might not be a terrible idea for us to take some kind of seed and then use all of the bone meal that we have and all the bone meal that we can, of course, make with the fish bones to get a ton of seeds. We can, of course, also get more seeds kind of the old-fashioned way, just by putting the dirt here into one of our strainers that has water. I think right now we actually don't have a spare water strainer, although actually this one over here should work. We did want to automate the production of driftwood. Right now that doesn't seem strictly necessary, so what I will do is I will take the improved everything upgrade here out of there for now, whack it in there, and then if we temporarily grab one of our meshes out of the system, we can do something like this, and we can go ahead and, of course, speed this up with our time in a bottle to hopefully get a ton of seeds. Now, of course, I am a fool, actually, here. This needs to be dirty mulch, not just dirt. That's actually potentially quite useful for us because we do have a ton of mulch, and you get 2 dirty mulch for every 1 dirt. So I'm going to go ahead and craft up a ton of that stuff, whack it in there. That's going to start making a bunch of seeds for us. All of those seeds are going to get pulled around into the system because we do have that hopper underneath. The improved everything upgrade here isn't really doing as much as I would like, and so I might actually swap that out for the everlasting input upgrade, just so that we don't run out of this dirty mulch too fast. Not that it's particularly difficult for us to make. We can, of course, get more dirt, and we, of course, have infinite mulch being made as well. But just to be safe, we'll go ahead and use the everlasting input upgrade there to make this dirt go as far as possible. And so essentially, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead, take those seeds, use them on the summoning block, summon a ton of chickens until we have enough feathers to make all 12 of the feather blocks and all 4 of the floating blocks. And a ton of chicken killing later, I think we're good to go here. So we need 12 blocks. I'll take one of those out there just so we don't make too many. We need 12 blocks of compressed feathers. And then from there, we need just 16 extra feathers. We have 17 here to make the feather blocks. Of course, as we saw, we do need to get some wool for that. We can craft leafy string into wool, and we can, of course, craft any of our leaves into string and then do something like this. We don't have a ton of leaves. Do we not get leaves as a byproduct of our botany pots? I guess we don't, because I don't see that we have any, and I'm assuming that there's none in here. There isn't. That is completely fine, of course. We can take some samplings from those botany pots, and we can just go ahead and place those down onto any dirt, and then, of course, use our shears to go ahead and harvest a ton of leaves. So if we do this, we can do this, and, of course, we do have the sapling grower that we made right back in the first episode of the pack. We can do this, we can do this. That gets us a ton of leaves. We can craft those leaves into string and that string into wool. We do only need 4 wool. We can then take that wool, of course, and craft it with our feathers to get the 4 floating feather blocks. And at that point, I think we are basically good to go. Let me check the recipe again here. So we need shrine key fragments, these guys right here. We need air essence, this guy right here. We also need the yellow dirt and the glass bottles. The yellow dirt we already have, and the glass bottles should be in here as well. And so now I think that we have what it takes to make an air key. Nice. We just now need to do that 3 more times for the earth, fire, and water key. So let's go ahead and take a look at, we'll do green next because we already have the stuff for it, I guess. So earth essence, easy enough. Shrine fragments, easy enough. Green dirt we have. Green colored logs we have. We need 12 grass and 4 melons. So melons, I believe we have the seeds for. We do indeed. And if I'm not mistaken, we should be able to temporarily hijack the phytogenic insulator here, give that a quick time in a bottle tap to make it just that little bit faster. It looks painfully slow. We can, of course, also take these out of here and put them into here for now, because I think we have probably more than enough diamond essence for the time being. We've got 152. We can go ahead and craft this into diamonds if we want more of those in the future. And so getting 4 melons here really shouldn't take too long. We'll leave that doing its thing. As far as grass is concerned, one thing we can do here is we can craft the grass trimmings that we got by shearing the bone meal grass in the last episode. We can craft this just with dirt directly, and that will get us grass blocks that we can then use for the craft. Of course, we did just use the last of our dirt to make the dirty mulch for all the seeds that we're getting. And so real quick, we are going to have to head back down to the bottom of the ocean here to get some more dirt. Once we have that dirt, we can of course craft it with that grass, and we should be good to go. And a quick bit of dirt harvesting later, we can do something like this and like this, get grass. Nice. Of course, we do need 12 in total. Thankfully, we do still have some durability left on our shears, and so we can do something like this, and that should be enough to get us the remaining grass. Nice. And so I think with that, we actually should have everything that we need to make the earth key, assuming that our melons are good to go. Over here, do we have at least 4 melons? We do not. That is due to a staggering lack of power. So real quick, let me eat some duck eggs so we can actually make this jump. We are kind of just using all the power that we have. One thing that we could look at doing here real quick, we could look at upgrading this hardened integral component to a reinforced integral component. That, of course, would allow us to eke out even more power from our generator. The only thing we're missing is a little bit of electrum, which we can, of course, hopefully get, assuming we have enough power to do it, from our induction smelter here. That's going to take us up to, I think, 3x. Yeah, it's going to take our scale factor from 2x up to 3x. On top of that, there are also augments that allow us to increase the power output of the dynamo as well. Specifically, this one right here, the auxiliary reaction chamber, does increase the output of our dynamos, and it's not too difficult to make. Silver gears, hardened glass, and then signalum plates, all of which should be somewhat doable. Let me start, though, by once again trying to make this jump right here. And if we do something like this to get our reinforced integral component, and this, that's going to take us from 160 up to 240 redstone flux per tick. Hopefully, that is somewhere close to being enough for us to actually do this, although it looks like it's still not quite enough. These are all kind of doing fine. This guy's doing okay. Nothing else is really running, so it really surprises me that we're like losing power. This is going to work, it's just going to be real slow. So you know what? We'll hold off a second on getting the green key, and instead, let's take a look at the water key. The water key here is 12 blocks of lapis. That, of course, very doable. We can definitely get 12 blocks of lapis from all of the lapis that we have in the system. Fantastic. After that, we need the same water essence and shrine fragments. We then need 4 fish bones, 4 raw fish meat, and then 12 marine fabric. None of those should be that difficult, actually. Do we have any fish bones and fish fillets over here? We do. We've got a ton of those. Fantastic. And then in terms of the marine fabric, this is where we need more leafy string. So it's a good thing we didn't get rid of this dirt here. So we're going to have to get more shears and more leaves to make more string. We also need to get some of these charcoal filters. Specifically, I think we're going to need 4 of them because we need 4 lots of 3, and that is just mini charcoal and paper. So that is actually good to go. And so I guess, real quick, all I'm going to do is chop down a few more trees here. And of course, every time we grow a tree, we will once again use our shears. I'll probably also go ahead and make a set of iron shears as well because they just do have a higher durability than the wooden shears. And once we have enough string to make the marine fabric, I think we should be, once again, good to go on the blue key as well. And 1 tree later, we actually have all of the string we need to make all the marine fabric. And I think as soon as we grab our water essence, that we should be fairly good to go here. Oh no, of course, we're missing the heart of the sea. That is going to make it a little tricky for us. That's the only bit that I think is going to make it tricky for us, is that we do have to go and find a heart of the sea. That's not the only heart of the sea that we're going to need. Taking a little look at the next quest line as well, one of these eyes here, and we do have to craft all of these eyes, by the way, one of these eyes, and I forget which one, this one here, does require 4 more hearts of the sea. So we need, I think, 5 hearts of the sea in total. I've been told that we can find those in shrines, so we're going to have to go and try and find those at some point later on. The fire key here is the very last key that we are going to need to make. This one is 12 netherrack, easy enough, along with shrine key fragments, fire essence, and then 4 campfires, which I think we should be able to make, along with 12 magma blocks. Now, at the moment, we have no magma blocks. However, I am fairly certain that we should just be able to head through to the nether and manually harvest some magma blocks. Let me quickly get the fragments and the earth essence for the earth key here. Boom and boom. Fantastic. We'll unbookmark that. And we'll also unbookmark the air key and some of the other stuff here that we don't need anymore. And I think that we are almost good to go. So real quick, let's go through to the nether. Let's make sure that we do have our glider on us. That's going to make it substantially easier for us to find some magma blocks in the nether. And once we have those magma blocks, I think that's basically everything for the fire key, at which point we can head out and start looking around for the heart of the sea. And so right away here in the nether, I do see some magma blocks right there. I'm going to turn off my glider just so we can kind of fall down in a straight line. There do appear to be more than 12 here. And so I think if we can do a nice soft landing right about here, we should then be able to just kind of harvest all of these. The tricky bit here is going to be trying to make sure that we don't fall in the lava, although it does look like there's actually netherrack beneath the magma blocks there. And so 64 is definitely going to be more than enough. Back over here is that everything we need for the fire key. It is, we just need to grab our fire essence. Nice. And so now it's just that water key. And so I guess it's time for us to start searching around under the sea. We'll put these away for now. I'll put them in the system. I'll also clear my inventory out of some of the other junk that we don't need to be carrying around on us. And we need to find 5 hearts of the sea. We can also keep an eye out whilst we're exploring as well for some other stuff. Because again, looking at the next quest line here, we have to make all of these eyes. All of the eyes on the left, I believe, are craftable. The 3 on the right, I don't believe we can craft. The top one here is a wither eye. It drops from the wither. We have fought the wither twice, and so we do have a couple of wither eyes here. And then beneath that, we have the black eye. It says found in buried treasure, which I believe is also where we're going to find the hearts of the sea. And then we also have the exotic eye, which is also found in buried treasure. It says maps to the treasure can be found in shipwrecks. I don't think the structure compass is going to tell us where the buried treasure is, but I'd be a fool not to check. Let me just quickly wait for that to cool down so I can give it a shift right click. There we go. And then if I type in buried, oh, it does show me buried treasure. Look at that, select. And so now we can right click and it shows me the nearest bit of buried treasure is over in this direction. So I'm going to head out over to that buried treasure. One thing we could do actually real quick before we go, I was looking last episode at making a boat. We couldn't make the boat because we didn't have any regular Minecraft logs. However, one thing we can do now is if we go back over to the catalog, we can buy a spray can like remover, this guy here, and that's going to allow us to take some of our wood and remove the spray can color from it. So basically we can go and take something like our blue logs here and we can strip the color from them, which I think is just going to turn them back into kind of regular oak logs. It is. And those regular oak logs, thankfully this doesn't have a durability, but those regular oak logs can of course then just be crafted. I thought that would work actually, but it doesn't. That's fine. Let me take that out. Let me craft over in here. We can craft that, of course, into regular planks, and then we can craft those regular planks into a regular boat. And I think that's just going to be a little bit easier so we can swim along the surface without having to worry about our oxygen. And I also think it's just going to be that little bit faster. Okay, so it looks like our first bit of buried treasure is actually just directly beneath us because swimming around in a circle here, or sailing around, I should say, in a circle here just takes us nowhere. So I think the first bit of buried treasure is basically directly beneath us. All right, so we found it. It ended up being quite far down. We did do a little bit of digging straight down here. And it says that the structure is 0 blocks away. So I'm going to do some just kind of haphazard mining around here to try and find what it is that we're after. I am going to have to eat, and I did have to just make a brand new bedrock pickaxe. So I spent 2 more diamonds, and I made 3 more of these bedrocky ingots. We had all the stuff to make it already, so that wasn't too difficult. I do not see, though, any sort of buried treasure whatsoever. And so I feel like we may have been lied to here about the fact that the structure compass can be used for this, because there is definitely like nothing here. Okay, so it turns out that the Y level on this appears to be incorrect. And so when we were swimming around down at whatever Y level it told me to be at, that wasn't right. But the Twitch chat has pointed out to me that if you kind of find where the number stops going down, so I kind of did a bit of moving in this direction, you'll see it goes down to 71, then it starts going up again as I move this way, and then we kind of started heading in this direction, you'll see it goes up again. So trying to find the block where it actually tells you to start going down, if you then just break the gravel there, boom, we find a chest. And the chest did have the black eye, the exotic eye, 2 hearts of the seas, more key fragments, more nautilus shells, and ender pearls. That's actually incredibly useful for us. I think what we need to do now, though, is we need to go far enough away, so we need to get in our boat, swim quite far away from where we currently are, so that when we use the structure compass again, it doesn't lock onto that buried treasure, because we need to go far enough away that it locks on to a different bit of buried treasure, and then we need to once again dig that up and see if we can't get some more hearts of the sea. Chest number 2 has 2 more Hearts of the Sea. I'll take the extra eyes as well, because I think those are going to actually be useful for us. And now it's back up into the boat for hopefully 1 more chest. And chest number 3 has basically the exact same stuff in it. Perfect. So we'll take all of that. I will go back up. Actually, I'm just going to do a slash home. Our boat is up on the surface there, and that is us contributing to I guess, just ocean waste by leaving it there, but it's not going to be that difficult for us to make another boat, should we need one. And so now that we have 7 Hearts of the Sea, I think not only should we have everything we need to make the water key, of course, assuming that we grab all of the required items out of the system, including all of our blocks of lapis, all of our fish bones, our raw fish is on us as well, and then we do, of course, need the water essence, which we do have. Fantastic, and that is still coming in passively. Boom, and boom. Nice. So that, I believe, is all of the shrine keys taken care of. And so now, we do, in fact, have to go back out into the open waters, because I believe now we need to head back to the shrine that we saw last episode and use that to create a room. So if we look at the minimap, it was north, if I remember correctly, which is this way. If we head to the north, there is a shrine right there, and that shrine key block there is where we need to use our shrine key. And then after that, we need to go find 3 more of these to use all of the remaining shrine keys. So we'll start with the fire key, just because I have it on my person here. And, oh, I guess that just changes the shrine itself into this shrine. Annoyingly, it looks like there's only 1 fire block here. So I have 2 questions. We did get rid of the floor. I do wonder if the floor might have turned into the fire block. I don't think so, though. I think the floor would have turned into the red-colored stone right there. And so, annoyingly, we got 1 fire block. As I showed before, we can duplicate this with fire essence, which I think we are going to have to do because we need quite a few of these eye cores. Again, I think that's fine because we do still have all of the fire, water, earth, and air essence coming in passively. And so we are going to do a bit of exploration here, and so I do actually think that it's probably going to be worth me doing a quick slash bang, actually going and getting that boat that I just abandoned, taking it home, and then using that to swim and try and find the next 3 shrine blocks so that we can use all 3 of our remaining color keys. This is shrine number 2 right here. If we do one of these, boom, we now have the air shrine. And of course, we're just here for this block in the center, assuming that we can find where it dropped. There it is. Perfect. On to shrine number 3. So I'm not seeing a ton of these on the map in either direction that we've been in here, but it turns out if we use the structure compass again, I believe that we can type in shrine, room opolis shrine select, and this will hopefully tell us where the nearest shrine is. And that should make it just a little bit easier for us to find these, as opposed to just haphazardly swimming in one direction and hoping that we eventually come across one. Here's shrine number 3 that we found with the compass. Let's go ahead and break just a few of these so that hopefully this time around the block does just fall directly down to me. Perfect. And now we just need to find 1 more of these for our blue key. And boom, there is our 4th and final shrine, and there is our 4th and final water block. Perfect. Let's claim all those rewards. We do want to make sure we duplicate these, and let me take my boat back here. Let's also do a quick slash home. We do want to make sure that we duplicate these before we use them, right? So I want to make sure we have at least a couple of them before we think about using them to make the eye that we're going to make in just a second here, because I don't want to have to go and make another key to get more of these blocks. So we always want to have at least 1 of each block remaining, to the point where I might actually physically take 1 of each block out of these chests. Like, it's such a pain in the backside to make those again that I think I will just take 1 of each of these and put them in a rogue chest somewhere, just so that we have a backup should we accidentally craft all of them down. Let me take this chest, let me go, and we'll just hide this somewhere in a corner. I'm going to put it here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Perfect. Those are there, ready in case we need them. Back over here, though, now we should be able to make this eye core here. So to make the eye core, we need 4 Eyes of Ender, which we might be able to make depending on how much blaze powder we have. Blaze rods, of course, were not too bad for us to get because we do have the ability to spawn blazes using sticks on the summoning block. We just need that bucket of lava that we used previously. And so we definitely should be able to make 4 Eyes of Ender. I don't know how many Ender Pearls we have currently. The answer is just 2. We can, of course, craft one like this to get a 3rd one, but that's still not enough. We are still going to have to use some of these Ender Pearl fragments to summon yet more Endermen. All of that, though, should be fine. Over here, we can swap this guy out for lava, like so. That's going to let us get blazes. We can, of course, do this again, where we do right-click with the stick and then kill the blaze. That's, again, very likely to give us blaze rods now because of the fact that we have the looting upgrade, and we can, of course, just craft those and maybe even pulverize them, actually, into, yeah, even more blaze powder. That is the slightly more efficient way to go about that. Let's do this. And then if we were to go ahead and swap out the lava bucket again, this time for the stone that we took away at the start of the episode, we should be able to once again begin summoning Enderman using the Ender Pearl fragments, and then we can kill those Endermen again with the looting sword here to hopefully get a decent number of Ender Pearls. Not that we need that many more, but I will probably go ahead and just kill 5 Endermen here because we have 5 more Ender Pearl fragments, and I'm fairly certain that we're going to need way more of these going forward. Again, if we look at the next quest line, I think all of the eyes, every single eye requires an eye core. That's why we need so many of the earth, air, fire, and water blocks, which means we need a ton of the essence, which is why we're growing it automatically. And of course, we need 4 Eyes of Ender for every single one of these eyes. And so even killing the 5 Endermen here with the fragments that we have is going to be nowhere near enough Ender Pearls. And so we are definitely going to have to come back and do this again later on in the episode once we run out of Ender Pearls. For now, though, this should be enough. Let me take one more Enderman. And I am going to go ahead and craft one of these Ender Pearls down into fragments right away. Again, just to make sure that we always have at least a couple of fragments ready to go for this kind of thing, so we can summon more Endermen going forward. Over here, the blaze powder is done. Let's craft up 4 Eyes of Ender, and then 1 Eye Core. And that should be that chapter complete. It is. Nice. So we'll dump a lot of this stuff back into the system now. We don't need to be carrying all of it with us all of the time. And now it is time to grab our Wither Eye so that that quest gets complete. Fantastic. And now it's time to actually start crafting these eyes here. So some of these definitely look easier than others, but they're all kind of just a little bit of a fetch quest in terms of getting a bunch of different stuff that we have or don't have and making it. So initially here, the old eye seems pretty straightforward. We need an eye core. We need 4 soul sand dust. Soul sand dust we can get by just taking soul sand and pulverizing it right there. That's going to get us soul sand dust. We then need sandstone, which of course we can make with sand. We need sandy mulch, which of course we should already have, or at the very least we can make with sand and mulch. That's easy enough. Sandstone here, of course, also super easy. Was 12 the amount that we needed? Let me type in I here, and we can probably bookmark these. 12 was correct. Sandy mulch, just sand and mulch. The tricky part here for this one is going to be the red sandstone, because we need red sand. And I think the only way for us to get red sand, unfortunately, is going to be by crafting fire essence with dirt essence. Right now, we, of course, have the fire essence. We don't have the dirt essence, so we are going to have to get a dirt seed. I'm going to bookmark that. The reason I'm going to bookmark that is that I think there are other seeds we're going to have to craft. Over here, for example, we need redstone essence, which is only obtainable through redstone seeds, so I'll bookmark that as well. Redstone ingots, super easy, just iron and redstone. Signalum blend, also super easy. We can just pulverize signalum, which we've done many times before. Sticky piston shouldn't be too bad. We do need a slime ball, though, and I actually don't think we have any slime balls. We don't, and so we are going to have to find a way to get slime. Never mind, we can use a centrifugal separator here from thermal expansion to turn a magma cream into a slime ball and a blaze powder. That seems like it might be the easiest way for us to do that, especially because we can turn our magma blocks into magma creams using the multi-servo press with an unpacking die here. That seems fairly doable. What else was needed for this? We need an eye core, of course, and that's actually it. Perfect. Over here, the evil eye requires black dye, which we can get from the Inksects. Eye core, of course, netherite nugget, which is just a netherite ingot. We need some twinite ingots. These are made with enderium, amethyst, and apatite. All of this we've made enderium before. We can make it again. The golden carrots here are going to be the tricky part, not because of the gold, but because we don't actually have any carrots or any way of getting carrots. And so I think there's 2 options here. We could try and get the nature essence seeds, or the nature seeds to make nature essence. For that, though, we do need potatoes, which we also don't have. I've been told that we might be able to find potatoes or carrots in certain chests that are around. So if we go and search some more barrels, we might find that. But we could also just summon some zombies using the summoning block and try and get a potato or a carrot that way. To summon a zombie, we would need to get some kind of rotten flesh. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that in the last stream, we checked out a structure fairly nearby. I don't actually remember which one it was that we went to, but one of the structures that we looked at in the last episode, the one where we actually found the ender pearl fragment, that one did have rotten flesh inside of one of the barrels that I completely ignored. Like, I didn't pick it up at all. And so if we could find that structure again, or that barrel again, then we should be able to get some rotten flesh, and we can use that, of course, to get infinite zombies going forward. I think this right here is where they were. Yes, there is indeed rotten flesh in here. I'll take some of the other stuff as well. I apparently have completed a quest there, which is very nice indeed. Let's do a quick slash home, though, because we are about to suffocate, which is not ideal. And we don't have a particularly high chance of getting the carrots or the potatoes from the zombies. And thankfully, the zombies do just require the stone, the same stone that the endermen require, which is good. However, we do, of course, have looting on our sword here, which is good. We do get more rotten flesh back, and I'm fairly certain that we need some bundled rotten flesh for one of these eyes as well. We do, for the undead eye here. And so, real quick, I'm going to kill a bunch of zombies until we have enough of the rotten flesh to make the undead eye, which means we need 16 bundled flesh. So once we've got enough to make 16 bundled flesh, then I might pivot into trying to find a potato or a carrot a different way. But we might as well start by seeing if we get any from killing all these zombies that we're going to have to kill anyway. We did it! We actually got a carrot from killing zombies. That is incredibly useful, of course, because we can just go ahead and grow that carrot using bone meal going forward, and that is going to be everything that we need in order to get the evil eye, which need to grow a bunch of carrots and craft them with gold. All right, so we got 37 rotten flesh to go alongside our carrot here, so I believe that is enough bundled rotten flesh. We needed 16, we now have 18, so that is fine. Let me go back to these eyes here. So as far as the evil eye is concerned, I think we should be able to make all of that stuff now. The undead eye requires bones, which we do have some of, and of course we can make more of using the fish, so that is fine. And then the bone broth here seems fairly doable. We do need like mushrooms and bones. There are a few other things we can use here. We might have some of those for making the bone broth. We'll come back to that later on. Everything else there is fine. The cold eye requires a lot of water agglomeration. This is fine. We made some of that before. We can make a ton of it again. It also requires ice essence, so we are going to have to get ice seeds. I'll bookmark those. We also need blizz cubes. Blizz cubes we get from killing blizzards, which we can indeed summon on the summoning block. We do, however, need to get packed ice under that. Again, that's going to be part of the whole ice seed setup. Once we get the ice seeds, we can craft ice and packed ice, so that should be somewhat fine. We also need frost melon slices. I believe that we have frost melon seeds. We do indeed, so we could hijack one of our phytogenic insulators to grow that, and then that's just the eye core in the middle. That's fine. The nether eye, blaze rods, we can summon, and that's fine. Nether brick, we can just smelt netherrack, that's fine. Netherite dust, we can get by pulverizing netherrack, that's fine. Nether star shards, we need from nether star seeds, which means we do need a nether star seed. That should be okay. We're going to need a ton of inferium to get the insanium essence required here. Killing the wither 4 times should be fine if we use the same method of trapping it in bedrock, so that shouldn't be too difficult. Ghast tears, we, I guess, just head to the nether and try and find a ghast to kill for that. That should be fine. And then, of course, the eye core is okay. The lost eye here requires some nether wart, which we should be able to find in a nether fortress. We then need some lodestone, which is just chiseled stone with netherite. Seems fairly straightforward. Compasses, easy enough. And then recovery compasses are more compasses with more echo shards. The echo shards we can get with the inferium blocks and the purified water. In fact, we probably have some echo shards lying around. We do. We got 60 already. And for this craft here, we need just 32. So I actually think we're completely fine on that front. The Guardian Eye is also fairly straightforward. This is where we needed those Hearts of the Sea. We do need to get some prismarine and some prismarine crystals. It looks like we can get prismarine by breaking down prismarine or prismarine bricks, which we should be able to find in the temples underwater. And then the prismarine crystals here, these could be difficult, but I have seen some sea lanterns around, which I think we could potentially break down into the prismarine as well. It's not like we can really make the seeds, because the seeds do also require the prismarine crystals. So we'll see about that one. That one could be a little tricky. The nether eye we've looked at. The cursed eye here is really straightforward. Obsidian we can get from lava. Blaze rods we can get from the blazes. Rotten flesh we can get from the zombies, and the eye in the middle there, that's fine. Magical eye, ender pearl fragments, super easy. Imperium is just inferium crafted up. We then need bottles of enchanting, we'll get back to that in a second, and some enchanting books, which we can do in an enchantment table. That's also fine. Then we've got the corrupted eye. The corrupted eye is crimson stem, which we can get from the nether, with buttons, cobblestone, crossbows, easy enough, and an eye, maybe one of the easiest ones on the list. The witch eye, sugar. should be fairly straightforward. We can grow sugar, and we get that from sifting the sandy mulch. Fermented spider eye, again, if we're getting spiders to spawn, I assume we can get a spider to spawn using the summoning block. We can, but we need a spider eye to make it happen. So that could be tricky. We could go try and find a spider in a cave underground. That one could be tricky. Glistening melons, easy enough. We can grow melons. And then flux tooth spores also might not be too bad. Phytogrower is super easy. It's just niter, appetite, bone meal, and sand. We can make that already. Redstone we have. Mushrooms we're going to have to get for some of the other ones. And then experience bottles. Again, we'll come back to that because right here at the bottom, we need the cryptic eye, which requires 4 enchanters. These seem like they should be all right, as well as 4 insightful crystals and a ton of experience essence. So we are going to have to make the experience seeds. These ones here are a little tricky, and the Twitch chat is telling me this might be the most tricky one to make because we need 4 experience capsules with 1,200 experience points each. And I guess we just right-click these maybe to fill up. I don't know how we get the experience out of us. For that, we need soulium ingots and soul glass. Do we have what it takes to make soulium ingots or soul glass? I think we do. We need a prosperity ingot, which we can then craft into a soulium ingot like this. I do believe we needed 2 of those to make one of these. We did indeed. So let me get another prosperity ingot, and let's craft that into another soulium ingot like that. And then as far as the soulium glass, we need 4 soul dust, which we get by smelting smooth soulstone. The smooth soulstone is made by smelting soulstone. The soulstone is soulium dust around stone. Soulium dust we do get, and we should have actually. So I assume we can do this. We totally can. And then we just need to smelt this multiple times to get what we need. We can smelt it once to get the smooth soulstone, and then we can smelt it again to get the soul dust. That should allow us to craft the soul glass, and then we can use that to hopefully craft just one of the experience jars, these guys right here. We need to do 4 of those, so I guess we'll do that multiple times over. All right, so I think I have everything I need now to make 4 of these experience capsules. They do not stack, and apparently I am wrong. Oh, of course, I made 4 glass, but I actually need 8 glass if I want to make this work. That's fine, we can smelt up more of that fairly quickly. Do I just right-click? I do just right-click, and that only takes 1 level away from me, though. There must be another way to take it out because it's only taking me down to 26, which is not ideal here. Okay, so it looks like, unfortunately, we can only take whatever excess experience we have. So whenever I kill a mob, it does put more experience into the tank. What we can do, though, is we can take experience out of our blast furnaces here. These have been kind of building up on experience this whole time here. And so if we siphon this out, so I'm just going to hold shift and left click here so I can take the item out, that should, I didn't get the item, but if I can get the item before it stops, then actually real quick what I'll do is I'll filter these for clear balls so that nothing gets pulled in. And then what we should be able to do is if we take the item out, we get all the XP stored up inside of that. And look at that. Boom. Nice. These have been running for so long that we get all of the experience. Let me take one of these and put it in like here because I want the experience from all of these. That makes it so much easier to get what we need. Perfect. Okay, let's do 1 more. Maybe 2 more. These end ones, of course, I think are going to be the least likely to actually have that much experience in them, but this has made it so much easier for us to get what we need here. Let me try the 1 last furnace. It's a good thing these have been running this whole time because otherwise we were going to have to kill a staggering number of mobs to get all the stuff we needed. Now, we are just 50 experience away from what we need. And so, can I shift right click to clear these? I can indeed shift right click to clear these. Perfect. So now I'm going to go and kill a few more Endermen. We have these Ender Pearl fragments. I think I need to kill 10 more Endermen now to fill this up, but I believe that we are pretty much good to go on the experience seed. Once we have that experience seed, we should then be able to use that to get basically unlimited experience. And of course, we can use it to make the bottles of enchanting, which are going to be needed for some of the other recipes. All right, and so now we have 4 experience capsules full of experience. Let's get those down over on the pedestals over here. This is where things could get dicey because I think we need a lot of inferium. Right now, we have got 389, which is really not much inferium. We could definitely do with either massively increasing the speed of this phytogenic insulator, which is going to require more power, or putting more of them down, which is also going to require more power. But over here, we need 4 Imperium essence. We have 1 Imperium essence, but we do have all of the crystals, I believe, that we're going to need to actually craft this up. So if we take our standard Inferium crystal, we can craft up some Prudentium. We can then hopefully craft up that Prudentium into some Tertium, which is this one right here. This one right here. That's my bad. And then from there, we should be able to craft up that Tertium into some Imperium. Nice, perfect. And so over here we go 1, 2, 3, 4. Of course, we do need one more prosperity seed base. This guy right here. Boom, and boom, and again, press the button. That's going to go ahead and make us the experience seeds. I do still have the particle effects turned off, and so we're not going to see it happen, but it should be done. Nice. So we can take those off our list, and now, just like with everything else, we should be able to throw those in somewhere over here. Temporarily, I'll put them into this phytogenic insulator, but we should definitely look at making another phytogenic insulator to get more of these going forward. And the idea now is that we can use the experience essence here for a few things. One is the cryptic eye, which we are going to need. We can also use it though to make these experience droplets, which you can just craft into bottles of enchanting, which are then usable for crafting, because a few of these eyes did need bottles of enchanting. Nice. I'll put you back in for now. We'll make that insulator in just a second. Let's see about some of these other seeds though. So the redstone seed should be fairly straightforward. It's 4 redstone with 4 tertium. Do we have any tertium left over? We've got 1 tertium here. I think once again, we are going to have to craft our way up through the crystals. We're a little light on the inferium crystal durability, and also a little light on inferium as well. But let's see how much we can get. If I do this and this, we definitely have what it takes to get 4 tertium essence here. And so the redstone seeds are going to be doable. Let's go and whack that in the middle. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Perfect. Hit the button. Let that do its thing. The dirt seeds are even easier. Those are just 4 inferium. So we'll take, we've only got 5, but we only need 4, so that's good. The prosperity seed base does require some more prosperity shards. That's fine. Over here, we were making more apatite. And over here, we're turning that apatite into prosperity shards very, very slowly. And then after that, we need the nether star seeds. These are not going to be able to be done just yet because you need so much inferium to make the insanium. And then the ice seeds are going to be able to be done because the inferium is easy enough. We do need to get some ice though, and that ice could prove tricky, although this might be doable because it looks like we can craft a bucket of water with an ice charge. Although actually the blast chiller should do it for us, right? Over here, we do have a blast chiller and we can just put water into that blast chiller and it will turn that water into ice. We only need 4 blocks of ice to make the ice seeds. And so I guess real quick, if I go and get 2 more buckets of water, we should just be able to drop all of those into the blast chiller, and then somewhat slowly but surely that's going to make us the 4 blocks of ice. Over here, the redstone seeds are done. Fantastic. We can check those off the list, and the dirt seeds are doable, assuming I have 4 dirt, and assuming that we did finally get the extra prosperity shards to make the next set of prosperity seeds. We did indeed. I'll take a few of those because we know for a fact that we're going to need them. Let me go ahead and do 1, 2, 3, 4 with 1, 2, 3, 4. And of course, you and you. Perfect. While we wait for that, let's go grab our 4 ice. Let's also see if we've managed to get 4 more inferium in that time. We have indeed. Fantastic. Let's take the dirt seeds. Let's go again. 1, 2, 3, 4 with the ice. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the seed in the middle. Boom and boom. That's the ice seeds and the dirt seeds taken care of. The experience seeds are also done. And now we just need the nether star seeds. Again, getting the nether stars themselves should be fairly straightforward. The only tricky bit is going to be getting 4 insanium essence, because that means that we need to get 16 supremium, which means that we need 64 imperium, which means we need 4 stacks of tertium, which means we need 16 stacks of prudentium, which means we need 64 stacks of inferium essence, which means we need like 4,096 inferium just to make the nether star seed. Of course, once we have that, we can basically grow nether stars, which is great, but it does make it pretty expensive. And so real quick, what I am going to do is I'm going to make, you guessed it, even more phytogenic insulators, connect those up to the system with their own drawers and set them up for the ice seed, the experience seed, the dirt seed, and the redstone seed. All right, so not too long later, we have even more phytogenic insulators down. They are connected up. We don't have water going to them just yet. We'll get to that in a second. They do have their drawers. I've locked the drawer to the seed, and they've all been set up correctly to send and pull from that drawer, so they should all work. They do have power, however, we are running into a slight power problem, and that's for a few reasons. I did go ahead and make some upgrades. I made some of these auxiliary reaction chambers for my Stirling boilers. I also made some hardened integral components for my Stirling boilers as well, so they're all upgraded with one of each of these. Again, as we saw earlier, just silver gears and signalum plates, easy enough. The trouble, though, is that we're not producing wood fast enough. The botany pots are not producing pink wood anywhere near fast enough to keep up with this, and you'll also notice that we're not actually getting the water fast enough from the aqueous accumulator either. So even if I were to try and jumpstart the system by putting some fuel in manually, almost right away we end up in a situation where the water is not coming in fast enough. So there are a few things we can do here. Apparently there is a turbo servo that we can make that's going to allow us to increase the speed at which water is extracted from the aqueous accumulator, because the aqueous accumulator is making the water more than fast enough, it's just not being extracted fast enough. And I assume that's partly due to the fact that we are sending water to all kinds of stuff. The turbo servo, I don't know how much faster this is than the regular servo. If this isn't fast enough, we could pivot over and use the fluid pipes from pipes, and we could also use the associated upgrades from that mod as well, because I think they almost certainly will be a lot faster. But just to give it a test, let me right-click to remove that. Let's put on the turbo servo, and let's see, is that, oops, any good? It probably would have been good if I didn't send all of my steam into the wrong fluid ducts. Let me quickly, I guess, pick all of those up. We're going to have to put all of them back down again. And also, gosh, I've got to stop right-clicking with the crescent hammer because I'm losing all of my machines. Let's do this. Let's also disconnect here and here because we don't want that. And then we'll connect these here. We do need to make some more fluid ducts to get things connected. It looks like that is doing just fine. The water is now filling up, which is fantastic. Let's get you back down right there. Do we have any spare fluid ducts? We do. We have exactly the right amount as well, which is fantastic. So let's do 1, 2, 3, 4. That's going to fill all those up. Those are all going to hopefully start working on producing their associated essences, which is good. Another thing that we could do, because you'll see here that we're still not producing enough fuel, right? The fuel is still the problem. Another thing we could do is look at a different kind of power generation. Something that people mentioned in the Twitch chat is the lapidary dynamo. This guy is super easy to make, and the reason this could be useful for us is that we can actually use this to turn diamonds into power. The idea being that if we did this, what we could do is we could take the diamonds that are being made by our phytogenic insulator, especially if we were to go ahead and upgrade that with some integral components to make it faster. It only takes, if we look at this recipe here, it only takes 10,000 redstone flux to make 1 diamond essence, which means it takes 90,000 redstone flux to make 9 diamond essence. And then from there, 9 diamond essence, of course, makes 1 diamond. We can then pump that into a lapidary dynamo, and that 1 diamond gets us 500,000 redstone flux. So we gain 410,000 redstone flux doing it that way, which I think is going to be quite useful for us. So we can do something like this, get our diamonds, and then we can export those diamonds, of course, up and around into the lapidary dynamo. And then if we were to take, you know, some of these integral components like this one out of here, because of course right now this is not even very useful because it doesn't have the steam to use it, in here we could do something like this. That is of course going to burn through the diamond faster, but I think that's going to be more sustainable for us going forward. And so what I've gone ahead and done over here is throw down another crafter and told it to craft diamond essence into diamonds. All we need to do now is tell our system to export the diamond essence to here, like that. That should start sending diamond essence over. That's going to craft our diamonds basically automatically. So our system is going to start filling up with diamonds. From there, we can go ahead and make another basic inventory hopper, and we can use this, of course, to just export directly to the lapidary dynamo, this guy right here. And of course, that's just going to keep working as it would, and it should just fill up with diamonds and turn them all into power. At the current rate, at 120 redstone flux per tick, that means that this produces 500,000. 500,000 divided by 120 is 4,166. That's the number of ticks. We divide that by 20 for the number of seconds, and that's 208 divided by 60 is about 3.5 minutes per diamond, which is great. It means it's going to last quite a while. It also means that if we wanted to, we could look at taking, for example, some of these auxiliary reaction chambers and putting those up in here to increase the power output. 240, 360. Of course, the more we put in there now, it's going to last more like 1 minute instead of 3 minutes, but that is a big upgrade, and we're still getting the extra 80 redstone flux per tick from our steam dynamo. We could look at maybe putting an integral component into here. Maybe one of these just like hardened integral components like that to try and find wherever the perfect balance is in terms of power and output. You'll see now we're starting to lose power a little bit, so maybe that's not quite perfect. But again, that's mostly just due to the fact that we're not making the wood fast enough. But outside of just throwing down a ton of botany pots, there's not really a lot that we can do there. But I think this should work fine. And as I said before, especially if we get a high tier integral component into this phytogenic insulator, something like a reinforced or maybe even a resonant integral component, we can start making these diamonds much, much faster and make sure that we're making them fast enough to keep up with the lapidary dynamo. I do also think that we should look at getting another resonant integral component for the phytogenic insulator that's making inferium as well, because as we heard earlier, we're going to need thousands of inferium if we ever want to be able to make the nether star seeds. And so real quick, I'm going to go ahead and make 2 more of these resonant integral components, and we will see if that helps us. And not too long later, I believe we now have everything we need to make 2 resonant integral components. We can now throw those in here and here, and that's going to hopefully massively increase the speed at which those run. Of course, again, we could take the flux linkage amplifiers and make this even faster so that we can keep the diamonds coming. And then all we need to do now is actually connect it up, because I've still not done that over here. We just need to get some more inventory cable, run that down through the ground, get some more of the covered inventory cable as well, so that we can actually run it through the floor. Make sure, of course, that we have our paint kit as well so that we can cover it up. And yeah, we should be pretty much good to go. Although I guess actually we do already have some right here. And so if we wanted it done more quickly, what we could do, initially I was just going to run it down into the floor, but I guess it probably makes more sense here to just put this here like this, and then kind of connect it around like this to our pre-existing line right here. Cool. So that should, hopefully, if we tell it to, begin exporting diamonds. We've got 30 in the system. We did use a few of those to make the integral components. That is going to send all of our diamonds over here, but hopefully we're making them faster than they're being used. And so I'm hopeful that eventually we will start to back up in the system on diamonds, because again, hopefully this is making them more quickly than they're being used. The odds of that happening, 160 RF per tick on just that one device. And then over here, we're producing 360. We can throw in another one of these to bump that power up even further to 480. Of course, it is going to burn through them even faster, but I think it's kind of going to be necessary. And I don't know if there's a throughput limit on these flux ducts. I don't think that there is, but it does seem to be the case over here that we're not... Oh, no, we are. It's getting there. It's backing up now, slowly but surely. Okay, cool. So that is working, and all of these are also working, so we should slowly but surely start to get things like ice essence, which we can go ahead and throw in here, things like experience essence, which we can throw in down here, of course the dirt essence, which we can throw in down here, and the redstone essence, which we can also throw in down here. Cool, perfect. So now we should be on our way, well on our way, to being able to make a lot of these eyes. Now that we've got the dirt essence, we can make the red sand for the old eye. With the redstone eye, we've got the redstone essence, so I think this is going to be very doable as well. The evil eye, we've got the carrots, we can make that happen. The twinite ingot, I think, was fairly straightforward. It was, we need more enderium for that. That's not a problem. We do need to still figure out things like the bone broth, but I'm hoping, chat, that next time we can come back and we can hopefully fairly easily work our way through most of these eyes here without too much trouble. There are 1 or 2 of them that I think could cause issues, but we need to use these to craft up the end eye curio here. This is going to allow us to place regular eyes into the standard Minecraft portal to get us to the end. Once we do that, we can fight the end dragon, and that's going to unlock us even more resources that we can use to craft up things like the ultimate ingot. And for now, the final quest in the quest book here is the quantum compressor. Whether or not Ben updates the pack to add more, we will see. But for now, unfortunately, we're out of time for this episode of Submerged.